The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report, TV and radio. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998. Live from the PWR studio in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this is the Pro Wrestling Report Post Show on Blog Talk Radio with your host, Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the post show of WWE SummerSlam from Los Angeles, California. I'm Damian Nelson, coming to you here from the Pro Wrestling Report offices, and what an eventful night from Los Angeles. We know a lot of you have a lot to say because multiple things are worth discussing from SummerSlam. Some of them I know you didn't think would happen. The number to call, 347-996-5278. 347-996-5278. And we are also taking your comments on our Facebook page and on Twitter. So be sure to follow us on Twitter and to like us on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a new WWE Undisputed Champion. And his name is CM Punk. CM Punk defeated John Cena tonight to become the Undisputed Champion in a controversial ending as CM Punk pinned John Cena, but John Cena clearly had a foot on the rope. But the win was recognized, and CM Punk became the new WWE Undisputed Champion, and you knew something more might happen because of the way that whole thing finished. Maybe there would be a cash-in of Money in the Bank. Well, there was a cash-in of Money in the Bank. The new undisputed WWE champion is Alberto Del Rio. But while you might already know that, I don't think anyone predicted the man in the middle, not Triple H, but the man in the middle of those two WWE championship changings would be Kevin Nash. Yes, Kevin Nash, involved in the main event scenario for WWE SummerSlam tonight as he attacks CM Punk after CM Punk defeats John Cena, thus opening the door for Alberto Del Rio to cash in his Money in the Bank contract in a flurry, a frenzy, if you will, of activity to end the pay-per-view WWE SummerSlam tonight. Now, it doesn't stop there. Hope you're following me, folks, but it doesn't stop there. World Wrestling Entertainment seemingly trying to move forward with the story that this was orchestrated by Triple H. WWE just sending out a note on Twitter. Tried to get a quote from Triple H explaining himself, but he just left surrounded by security. Triple H seemingly not involved, but maybe he was. And here's what's great about it. For those of you who like it and for those of you who hate it, I don't know if any wrestling fan has a choice but to tune in to WWE Raw tomorrow night to find out what happened, what this all means, and oh, by the way, might the chance just be that John Cena is still a WWE champion because he lost and got pinned while his feet were clearly on the ropes. Amazing. Again, whether it was good or bad, amazing because you're surprised. And please, nobody try to convince anybody else that you knew Kevin Nash was going to be there tonight, because you didn't. We didn't. Nobody did. Almost 500 of you chatting in the chat room here on Blog Talk Radio right now. And here's one other interesting thing we haven't talked about that happened tonight, and this pointed out by a user by the name of Vikin Manjikin in the chat room. Says, how was this Triple H is doing? He looked like Nash was a surprise. My money is on Stephanie sending out Nash. Yes, the billion-dollar princess, Daddy's little girl, returned to WWE television tonight and had words with CM Punk as she tried to wish him luck. he was not very cordial to her. Again, it's the perfect ending because you want to know what's next. You want to know what is next from WWE and how they're going to explain this dual WWE Championship change after the initial win was controversial, to say the least. A great match, not as good as last month, but another great match from John Cena and CM Punk. Fans clearly in favor, for the most part, of CM Punk in Los Angeles. A hot crowd all night in Los Angeles tonight, in my opinion. They saw Christian lose the World Heavyweight Championship to Randy Orton in a no-holds-barred match that also saw the return of Edge to WWE television. Edge comes back and is announced as being in Christian's corner by Christian. However, Edge doesn't want to play that game because he feels Christian has become, and I quote, a whining, crying, moaning little bitch after he passed the torch on to Christian. It seemed as if that hopped or put Christian into gear. The two delivered another solid matchup, and that's what's great about Christian. That's what's great about Randy Orton. The fourth pay-per-view outing in a row. They delivered yet again a marquee matchup tonight. Unfortunately, at least until SmackDown on Friday, most people aren't going to be talking about that or remembering it. But Randy Orton is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion for the 9th time, defeating Christian tonight in that no-holds-barred matchup. Edge would ultimately not play a role, leaving Christian and not joining in that matchup. We talked about Stephanie McMahon, Kevin Nash, Edge. Well, the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, was also involved in this pay-per-view tonight, doing a little bit of a promo backstage with R-Truth. I guess Jimmy Hart was Big Jimmy, because once Little Jimmy got mentioned, his plea to let him be his manager was immediately walked away from. There is not a new Divas champion, as many people expected. Kelly Kelly defeated Beth Phoenix tonight. Beth Phoenix losing to Kelly Kelly in a match from the Divas that was given a good amount of time. And I think both delivered in that matchup. Was it a great match or the best match I've ever seen? Absolutely not. But was it a good match considering what we've seen historically from the Divas in WWE, at least lately? Yes, it absolutely was. Wade Barrett defeated Daniel Bryan, which was a bit surprising to me because Daniel Bryan is allegedly, or at least seemingly, on his way into WrestleMania to defend or to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase, and a loss to Wade Barrett doesn't do well for his efforts there. Mark Henry defeated Sheamus by a countout. Mark Henry very strong tonight. Sheamus equally strong, a solid fan favorite in Los Angeles. And it was a spectacular spot to end that matchup as Henry put Sheamus through the retaining wall around ringside. And Sheamus not able to get up in time and get back into the ring. A bonus matchup saw the Miz team with R-Truth and Alberto Del Rio to take on Kofi Kingston, John Morrison, and Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio getting the pin over R-Truth in that matchup. And let's not forget, tomorrow night on WWE Raw, Rey Mysterio challenges the new WWE Undisputed Champion for that title. And he does so against Alberto Del Rio. Again, if you're just tuning in, a lot happening tonight on WWE SummerSlam. It is a pay-per-view that people will be talking about for a very long time, one that has built a ton of intrigue on what's next in WWE. We have had 3 total WWE champions tonight. Obviously, John Cena and CM Punk as they first enter the ring. Well, John Cena defeated by CM Punk in controversial fashion as CM Punk pinned John Cena when John Cena's foot was on the rope. But then from there, Kevin Nash comes out of the crowd, attacks, yes, Kevin Nash, Diesel, Big Daddy Cool, attacks CM Punk, leaves him laying, and allows Alberto Del Rio to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase to become the new, undisputed WWE champion. But I feel I feel that John Cena and Triple H both have a lot to say about what happened tonight, because really at the end of the day, as the guest referee in this contest, it seems like this proverbial blood is on the hands of Triple H. I think interesting times are to come going into Night of Champions, by the way. And how about that, a three-way matchup to determine the undisputed champion again, because you can do that. The possibilities are endless, and of course we'll find out. We'll find out what's going to happen, I think, a little bit more clearly tomorrow night on WWE Raw. We are going to be taking your phone calls. We've got a lot of you waiting on hold right now. The number 347-996-5278. 347-996-5278. We're going to take a time out, and when we come back, we're going to get to your phone calls, and we're going to acknowledge you by the area code from which you're calling from. And in the interest of time, I want to make sure we get to as many callers as we can tonight. As we identify your area code, please tell us your name and the city you're calling from, and then proceed with your question or comment so that we can move on to the next person. And the conversation will continue, of course, in our chat room right here on Blog Talk Radio. Join the hundreds of people talking right now about the very eventful WWE SummerSlam, where a new World Heavyweight Champion and a new WWE Champion were crowned tonight in Los Angeles. This is the Pro Wrestling Report post show on Blog Talk Radio and all over the world.
Stop stalking your ex and be our friend on Facebook and join the tremendous worldwide discussion. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report.
Ken Anderson, welcome to the Pro Wrestling Report.
Good morning.
We are pleased to welcome our guest for the first time here on this very program, Matt Hardy.
Kevin Nash. Kevin, thanks for joining the Pro Wrestling Report. It is the Iron Sheik. Sheik, good evening.
Welcome, Rhino.
Hey, well, thanks for having me, guys.
Celebrating 12 years on the air and voting. Don't forget to follow PWR right here on Blog Talk Radio right now. Be reminded of upcoming episodes and never miss Blog Talk Radio's most popular sports show. Follow PWR now. There's only one place to get the latest from pro wrestling, including the only place to get 100% verified wrestling news. PWRshow.com. PWRshow.com, where you'll never find pop-ups or misleading headlines. Watch or listen to all of our latest TV and radio broadcasts on demand. And get caught up on wrestling news between episodes. PWRshow.com is the cleanest, friendliest, and most fan-friendly source for wrestling news on the web.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report post show for WWE SummerSlam. And thank you for joining us wherever you may be, all over the world, listening here to Blog Talk Radio's most popular sports program, the Pro Wrestling Report, and the post show for WWE SummerSlam. Again, a brand new WWE champion in Alberto Del Rio, taking it from CM Punk, who defeated John Cena, but it was very controversial. All together and at the same time, a new WWE champion is crowned in Alberto Del Rio, and it happened tonight at SummerSlam. And also a new World Heavyweight Champion, in Randy Orton, tonight at SummerSlam. The return of Kevin Nash, Diesel, to in-ring action on WWE television hasn't been seen on WWE television since the Hall of Fame induction ceremony back surrounding WrestleMania weekend, after returning at January's Royal Rumble. Without further ado, let's get to your phone calls. Again, the number 347-996-5278. Dozens of you waiting on hold right now. In the interest of time, please state your name, where you're calling from, and quickly your comment or question, and we'll move on to the next caller. So let's start this off right, and let's go to the 517 area code. Caller from the 517, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
This is Eric from Coldwater, Michigan. Hello, Damian.
Hello, Eric.
How are you tonight?
Tremendous. A little dizzy. I'm a little dizzy at the ending of SummerSlam, but I'm good. What did you think?
I was shocked and amazed at the Kevin Nash thing, but I mean, it's been out there for about 2 months now about the Del Rio thing, because they're going to Mexico, and they need that big Mexican superstar to bring in the crowd. Even though he's not selling merchandise as much, WWE's putting their faith in this guy, and it's one of the most amazing things you get to see, along with building up CM Punk and leaving Triple H neutral and bringing back legends to help out the younger guys. And right now is a perfect time to get everybody right back into it.
And we'll see if that is indeed what happens. Thank you very much, Eric from Michigan, for calling into the program. WWE is indeed taking their business down to Mexico in the next few weeks, actually. I believe we have a Raw from Mexico in October that's actually going to happen. But I think before that, Night of Champions and even tomorrow night's Raw is going to answer a lot of those questions that we may have about what happened tonight. Let's go to our next call, calling from the 704 area code. Caller, you're live.
Damien, this is Phil from Charlotte, North Carolina. How the heck are you?
Absolutely tremendous.
Oh, man, I am excited about WWE television for the first time in a very long time. These guys are writing some great storylines. The guys are working like crazy in the ring. The last couple of pay-per-views have been fantastic. And my last comment, the spot of the night for me was the reaction of the fans in the front row when Mark Henry threw Sheamus through that barricade. That was priceless.
It was indeed. Now, I question how much fans those were as opposed to plants, but regardless of that, it still did play well on TV, and it was very good. We've seen that spot several times before, but for some reason tonight, it certainly resonated a little bit better. Thank you very much for that call, Phil, from down in Charlotte. And let's go to our next caller, calling from the 210 area code. Caller, you're live. Caller from the 210, you're live. All right, go ahead with your comment or question.
It was also tremendous seeing you on the pay-per-view as well, sir.
They're getting a lot of play out of that clip.
Yeah, I was expecting you not to be on there, seeing you on the Raw one, but it was nice to see you on there. But anyways, back to the pay-per-view. It was awesome. The ending was great, very non-expectable, and everybody's hating on it, but I thought it was a great ending, and no one ever thought it was coming, especially you, Damien.
Oh, I certainly didn't think it was coming. As a matter of fact, I don't think many people knew how that match was going to go or were willing to really stand behind whichever way they thought that match was going to go. The match I'm talking about is CM Punk versus John Cena, obviously. But definitely nobody was planning on Kevin Nash being a part of it.
Yes, exactly. And now you don't know where the storyline could be. It could be John Cena, Triple H, CM Punk, Triple H. It can go any way. And now the next pay-per-view is looking up to be another good one.
Absolutely. And that's the point. That's the point of WWE's business, is to get you to tune in not just this month, but also next month and the month after and the month after. And I will say this. There was somewhat of an attitudinal feel tonight in that arena in Los Angeles, in the Staples Center, specifically during the Punk-Cena match. People were standing. The shirts were consistent, CM Punk. The signs were all over the place. Hands were up. People were having fun. They were cheering. They cared. They cared about the match. They cared about the outcome. They cared about the competitors. They cared. That was something that was there in the 90s and in the early 2000s as well that we haven't seen in a while in WWE. Well, I think we saw it tonight. It was a bit familiar tonight. And if this momentum continues, there's only one group of people that will benefit from that, and that's us as wrestling fans. Let's go to our next phone call, calling us from the 610 area code. Caller, you're live.
Hello, Damien. My name is Lucian. I'm from Pennsylvania.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I saw SummerSlam, and I had to say it was a very good show. My favorite part, of course, was when I saw Kevin Nash. I couldn't see who that was at first, and I saw it was Kevin Nash. I was like, oh my God, what's he doing on this show? And just like the reaction of the crowd, it was a really good show.
Thank you very much for that call from Pennsylvania. You know, Kevin Nash coming out, I think the crowd for the most part was surprised, shocked, confused, angry, happy, upset, mad, glad. It was all those emotions at once because it was like, what the heck? First of all, when CM Punk initially won that matchup by pinfall, I thought the reaction was very flat because those fans who have been made smarter by CM Punk over the last month or two knew that his foot was on the rope, knew that Triple H was the referee, so they didn't believe for one red minute that CM Punk was going to remain the WWE champion by the end of the night. But at the same time, I don't think anybody expected the scenario to play out ultimately as it did with Kevin Nash returning and then the cash-in by Alberto Del Rio to win the WWE Championship. Again, this is the post-show here on Blog Talk Radio of WWE SummerSlam 2011. Yes, we do have a new WWE champion. His name is Alberto Del Rio, taking it from CM Punk, who took it from John Cena. We also have a brand-new World Heavyweight champion. Brand new World Heavyweight champion in Randy Orton, who defeated Christian in an excellent matchup tonight. Kelly retains the Divas Championship over Beth Phoenix. Wade Barrett defeating Daniel Bryan. Mark Henry defeats Sheamus. And Rey Mysterio and his team of Kofi Kingston and John Morrison defeat The Miz, R-Truth, and Alberto Del Rio. And several big returns tonight on this pay-per-view SummerSlam. Stephanie McMahon Helmsley back on WWE TV. Jimmy Hart back on WWE TV. Edge back on WWE TV. And most importantly tonight, Big Daddy Cool Diesel Kevin Nash back on WWE TV, causing CM Punk to lose the WWE Championship. And I can't wait to hear the tongue lashing that CM Punk definitely must have in store for one of the most controversial men in the business as far as his reputation goes, Kevin Nash. We're continuing taking your phone calls right here on Blog Talk Radio. The number, 347-996-5278, 347-996-5278. Also, the chat continues in the chat room right here on Blog Talk Radio. Hundreds of you there now speaking about this pay-per-view tonight. User by the name of Jersey Justice29 saying Stephanie McMahon looks awesome. DeAndre Jones saying waiting for CM Punk on Twitter. So a lot of people talking about tonight's WWE SummerSlam, but we want to hear what you thought overall of SummerSlam. Was it a passing or a failing grade? Hop on over to our Facebook page to vote in the question that we are asking. Was SummerSlam pass or fail? You can vote right now on Facebook.
Stop stalking your ex and be our friend on Facebook and join the tremendous worldwide discussion. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report.
Again, you can go to Facebook, our page on Facebook, vote right now. We'll have the results of that poll at the end of the program, along with any comments that you leave along with that poll. Let's go back to the phone lines, and let's go to a caller from the 504 area code. Caller, you're live.
Hey, Damon, it's Brian from New Orleans. How you doing?
Doing great. What'd you think of the show?
I thought it was the best SummerSlam since Edge and Taker in Hell in a Cell. It just, from start to finish, it just kept getting better and better. Even the Divas match, I didn't even use that for a smoke break. I actually sat and watched it.
Now, why did you sit and watch it? Did you feel like it was going to be a different match? Did you feel like it had potential? Were you intrigued by the match?
I was intrigued because it was somebody other than, Kelly and Eve. It was Beth Phoenix. I figured, we'd at least see a fun squash, but it didn't turn out that way, and that's even a little more intriguing. But we got some wrestling out of it for a change.
Absolutely, and a decent matchup from them. Your thoughts on the new WWE champion, Alberto Del Rio?
It was. I didn't expect there to be a cash-in. I figured they'd hold it off, but, now it makes sense, and it's exciting because of Kevin Nash. When I saw him coming in the audience, we just went crazy. We're like, oh, my God, it's Kevin Nash.
It was surprising, to say the least, and Kevin Nash has got some splaining to do, much like Lucy, tomorrow night on WWE Raw. Brian from New Orleans, thank you so much for that call. Let's go to our next caller, who is calling us from the 201 area code. Caller from the 201, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up? This is Christopher from Englewood, New Jersey. This is the first time I'm calling in, and I really appreciate it. let me just say, SummerSlam has really gone to a new level, and this is going to add fuel to the fire towards WrestleMania next year, because this has been set to a whole new level with the next pay-per-views coming up, I think, in my opinion, you know?
Yeah, I mean, what you want is intrigue. What you got was intrigue tonight. And just, people were talking about whether or not this CM Punk John Cena thing advanced too quickly. Now look at all the players involved here. And look at what is possible, at least, going forward without knowing what's going to happen, which makes it that much more intriguing. I for one, am very, very interested to hear why Kevin Nash was there tonight, why Kevin Nash was a part of that particular matchup and caused what he knew would happen, the cash-in by Alberto Del Rio. The goal of Kevin Nash seemingly was that CM Punk not walk out of Los Angeles the WWE champion.
The tremors are starting to shake, and it's going to be like a humongous wrestling earthquake come WrestleMania. The big one is on its way. I just got this feeling it's going to be one of the most spectacular, and I think going to be the most historic WrestleManias ever to be put before the entire pay-per-view audience. And by the way, before I go, I do have my own radio show on Blog Talk Radio too, by the way.
All right. Well, why don't you head on over to our chat room and share with everybody in there what the name of that show is, and we definitely want to support all the other shows that are on here. But tonight, it's about the Pro Wrestling Report, and it's about SummerSlam. So let's go to our next caller, who's calling us from the 914 area code. Caller, you're live. All right, caller from the 914, are you there? Let's go to our next caller, who's calling us from the 715 area code. Caller from the 715, you're live.
Hi, Damian. My name's Leif. I just want to say something quick before I get to my comments. I really think David Del Hierro is a really cool guy. I think he'd be a great announcer. He reminds me a lot of Bobby the Brain Heenan. And I guess my comments on, I think they could have done things a little differently. It was good, like Sheamus versus Mark Henry. I think they should have let Sheamus win to build him up, because I think they're building up to be a face. And I think that would have gave him great momentum. And the Randy Orton Christian thing, haven't we seen this the last 4 months? Like, they should have let Christian keep it and have him face somebody else, because we've seen this the last 4 months, and I'm kind of getting sick of Randy Orton versus Christian. And
are you really? Do you not feel that they delivered good matches in these 4 pay-per-views?
It's not that. It's just it's been 4 months in a row, it seems. It's like when Edge kidnapped Paul Bearer. It seemed to go on all month.
Right.
And, I think I'm really stoked that Kevin Nash is back, because was a big WCW fan, and I'm glad they finally brought him back. I think Punk losing the title was too soon. I think he needed at least another month to build up his new character, because it's pretty much a new character, I think. And because I really like it, and I think they should have waited another month. Maybe have Del Rio again, try and lose and then run to the back. But the Kevin Nash thing makes it okay for me, because if he doesn't have the title, at least he's got somebody awesome to face off against. I don't want to see Cena versus CM Punk again next month either, you know.
Okay. Well, we'll see what night.
I just want to ask you one quick question. During back in the day, were you WCW fan or WWF fan?
Absolutely WWF. I actually rarely if ever watched Nitro. I did watch it when it had when the replay was on, because Nitro used to replay right after Raw. These were before the days of DVR being so prevalent and in just about everybody's home. But being a hardcore WWE fan to the core as a child, I did not like WCW encroaching upon my beloved WWE, so I just never bothered with Nitro. But be that as it may, thank you very much for that call. And again, we are taking your calls on WWE SummerSlam, the number 347-996-5278, 347-996-5278. And one other interesting point tonight, as we talk about the crowd in Los Angeles, is a little bit of a tribute. And you heard it, but let's remind you of what CM Punk did tonight from the top rope. It was a tribute to Randy Macho Man Savage, or at least nothing we haven't seen from Punk before, but the crowd reacting, Randy Savage, with the chant Randy Savage, after that jump off the top rope from CM Punk onto John Cena, with a little bit of a tribute to the Macho Man. Let's go to our next caller, who is calling us from the 601 area code. Caller, you're live.
Yes, this is Samantha.
All right, Samantha, what did you think of SummerSlam?
I thought it was good. One thing I was hoping was, okay, why on pay-per-view does CeeLo Brown do the PG version of FU?
Well, there's absolutely no chance he was going to do the full version of FU, especially with WWE. I don't even know if they have a PG rating on pay-per-view, specifically WWE. They might go 14 on that, but it just really didn't make any sense for them to have used that version. But how about CeeLo, by the way? Some of you saying it looks a little bit like Viscera. Some saying it looked a little bit like Aretha Franklin. But it was a good performance, I thought. And really that, in addition to Adam Jones from Tool performing the national anthem, made this feel bigger. It was a bigger feeling show. You've got the electricity surrounding the main event matchup. And you've got these performers and these extra things going on. Access happening surrounding the event. Third year in Los Angeles. Sold out show. A big time feel to SummerSlam tonight. And one thing, though, that did make it feel so big time is I'm not sure many of us paid $45 or $55 to see commercials. We saw a commercial for a movie. We saw a commercial for, what was it, Skittles, Twix, I don't know what. And I get it. They pay for that. That's great. I understand the 7-Eleven commercial because people are going to go out and buy those, and it's all good for everybody. But I don't pay to be sold to. I don't want to go off on a tangent on that. But anyways, a good pay-per-view tonight, a big-time feeling pay-per-view tonight. And again, right on our Facebook page, you can vote right now, pass or fail, WWE SummerSlam, passing or failing for the overall show tonight, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report. Let's go to our next phone call, and that call comes to us from the 414 area code. Caller from Milwaukee. You're live.
Hey, what's going on, Damien? This is Gabriel.
Gabriel, how are you?
Good, good. All I just wanted to say was, SummerSlam was pretty awesome. I liked it. But the only thing was that Fat Cody Rhodes wasn't on there. I think he's really starting to show us now what wrestler he is, and it's kind of sad that they didn't put him on there, I know he'll probably be Night of Champions because he's got the IC title, but they should have used him more, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying, and thank you for that call, Gabriel. A lot of people, including myself, were wondering how this pay-per-view was going to happen with only 4 matches announced. Did that mean all the matches were going to be given that much more time? Did that mean something else was going to happen? Did that mean there would be a bonus match, which there ultimately was? It really didn't matter at the end of the day. This thing went to almost the top of the hour, and they filled the time, and they did so with a lot of amazing production and video packages and storytelling. And I really think Randy Orton and Christian told an amazing story in the ring, as did Sheamus and Mark Henry as well. A lot going on tonight on SummerSlam, a newsworthy pay-per-view, one where WWE definitely delivered tonight from Los Angeles. We're taking your calls, and we're also taking your comments in the chat room here on Blog Talk Radio. And the comments are flowing now about dashing Cody Rhodes, including username SChundy, emartin9795, and more. And I think we will see the new Intercontinental Champion defend that title on Night of Champions. Let's go to our next phone call. And our next caller comes to us from the 901 area code. Caller from the 901, you're live.
What's going on, Damien?
It's a great night here in Milwaukee. How about you?
Hey, I'm ecstatic right now. I got $50 right now because I had predicted the whole CM Punk and John Cena match with my brother, so I got $50 on the way. So I'm feeling real good right now.
Let me guess. You predicted CM Punk would win and Alberto Del Rio would cash in.
Exactly.
But that's not really what happened.
Huh?
Ultimately, yes, that is what happened, but there's details in there that I think are important. Maybe you should only get 25 of that $50.
Oh
I'll leave that for you guys to decide.
Don't say this because y'all record this and it go on YouTube. You might hear this, but I had said it because last week I saw that Rey Mysterio would have a shot, and I see that they're gonna be in right around in the LA area again, once again defended in the Raw. So I was like, oh yeah, Alberto versus Rey Mysterio on Raw. So I said that was predictable for me. I said, okay, Alberto's gonna come out, win the title, and defend it on Raw against Rey Mysterio. I mean, who better would you rather Rey Mysterio go against? I mean, CM Punk. I'm not CM Punk. I'm not John Cena. They got to be Alberto. They got the biggest rivalry, and that's gonna be. I mean, they always have good matches. Rey Mysterio and CM Punk, they go off the chain with each other. So, and I mean, not CM Punk. I mean, Alberto Del Rio. And I think it was kind of predictable for me.
All right. Well, thank you for your comments on tonight's WWE SummerSlam, and congratulations on your win there. We just got a comment here from Kevin Nash on, actually it wasn't on today, it was from a few days ago, Kevin Nash saying on Twitter, just found this, or just got retweeted actually, Punk, if you want my backup, you got my number. You're worth me going back on the road full time. Offer stands. Understand if you want to go it alone. So let me tell you this about Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash is a man who speaks his mind. Kevin Nash is a man who speaks the truth. Kevin Nash is a man who understands this business more so than many of you will ever give him credit for. This is going to be an interesting one. Because look at the players in this game. John Cena, one of the most powerful men in WWE. Triple H, one of the most powerful men in WWE. Kevin Nash, one of Triple H's best friends. Stephanie McMahon, Triple H's wife. The unfinished business was Vince McMahon's company that he no longer runs the day-to-day operations of. It's all these chapters. It's all these layers. It's all these different elements of one overall story that is what makes wrestling great to follow on a weekly basis and not keep waiting and waiting and waiting for that next great event that may or may not ever happen. Let's go to our next caller, calling us from the 847 area code. Caller, you're live.
Hey, this is Dan from Chicago. How you doing, Damien?
Doing great.
Awesome way to end the pay-per-view. My pipe bomb's going to go off in a second about the Kevin Nash and about the Kevin Nash thing. I enjoyed it, and I think you're going to get a power struggle between Triple H and Kevin Nash because Kevin Nash is the Raw anonymous general manager.
Oh, it's interesting. Definitely a chance of that happening as well because they haven't answered that question about the anonymous general manager. Not sure how much sense that makes, but it could be anybody right now. Heck, it could be anybody. It could be Sarah Palin for all we know. But we'll see if it turns out to be Kevin Nash coming up in the next, maybe even tomorrow night on WWE Raw. I want to thank all of you for joining us. We're still going to get to your phone calls, but we want to remind you that the Pro Wrestling Report is returning to 540 ESPN on Thursday this week. A very special Thursday edition of the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, and you can never miss an episode of the Pro Wrestling Report on its home station, 540 ESPN out of Milwaukee, by following us right here on Blog Talk Radio.
Tired of all the lies, rumors, and assumptions in wrestling news? So are we. Join us each week for the Pro Wrestling Report on ESPN Radio for the latest news and views on pro wrestling. Visit us at pwrshow.com to check the latest schedule. Don't forget to follow PWR right here on Blog Talk Radio right now. Be reminded of upcoming episodes and never miss Blog Talk Radio's most popular sports show. Follow PWR now. Missed an episode on the Pro Wrestling Report? Thanks, pal. Subscribe to the show on iTunes and take the show with you wherever you go, even in the bathroom.
Yes, we are also on iTunes. We're pleased to be frequently rated in the top 10 shows, sports and recreation podcast on iTunes, so be sure to subscribe to us there as well. We are taking your phone calls on WWE SummerSlam, again, a night that's still sinking in for many fans, including me. Here in the PWR studios, we have a brand new WWE champion. His name is Alberto Del Rio, who cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase tonight over CM Punk, who defeated John Cena to become the undisputed WWE champion, but he did so before being attacked by Kevin Nash, returned to WWE tonight for unexplained reasons and cost CM Punk the WWE Championship. Brand new World Heavyweight Champion as well in Randy Orton, who defeated Christian tonight in a great no-holds-barred matchup, which saw the return of Edge, who Christian announced as being in his corner. Edge did not want to play that game or be any part of that action with Christian and walked out on Christian losing the World Heavyweight Championship. Stephanie McMahon also making an appearance, two of them, tonight on pay-per-view. One of them was her walking out of John Cena's locker room with a little bit of a questioning look on her face. Kelly retains the Divas Championship over Beth Phoenix. Mark Henry defeats Sheamus by a countout. And the man who goes into Raw tomorrow night to challenge for the WWE Championship against Alberto Del Rio, Rey Mysterio, led his three-man team to victory over The Miz, R-Truth, and Alberto Del Rio in the opening contest tonight. Let's go to our next caller, who is calling us from the 816 area code. Caller, you're live.
Hey, Damien, how's it going?
Great.
That's good. I'm Giovanni. I'm calling from Kansas City. I thought SummerSlam was absolutely spectacular. I would have changed the ending a bit. I would have waited another month, as the other dudes said. But my favorite match of the night, though, was Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett. It was an extremely good match, not really hyped up, but it was, in my opinion, the best match of the night. My question is, will you ever hear the end of this from David Octavius, the Tiberius, the alleged Hall of Famer, El Hero?
You know, here's the thing. I'm a broadcast journalist, and you notice I'm not gloating about Cody Rhodes being the new Intercontinental Champion. It was a foregone conclusion that Alberto Del Rio would win the WWE Championship. I want to see where this goes before anybody thinks it's a good thing or a bad thing, because, hell, he could lose it to Rey tomorrow night for all we know. Let's see where this goes, and let's see what the reasoning behind all this is, and see why Alberto Del Rio was given that chance to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase tonight, because he would not have had that chance if not for Kevin Nash. So I could have handled David Hero. Notice how he's not here tonight, and he missed this show in the pay-per-view, which I think is tremendous, but he will be with us on Thursday on ESPN Radio. Thank you very much for the call, Giovanni in Kansas City. Let's go to our next caller, and it looks like we have another caller from the 504 area code. Caller, you're live.
Hey, this is Dustin from New Orleans, Louisiana.
How you doing? Our second call from New Orleans tonight. I love it.
How you doing, Damien?
Absolutely tremendous.
First of all, I want to know how your team did.
Well, in the
more
draft,
points than
I picked up 120 points tonight. I believe David Hero picked up 125 or 145. What's interesting, though, is, CM Punk won points, lost points. John Cena lost points. Alberto Del Rio lost points, won points because he lost the earlier matchup. So it was a complicated tracking today for the PWR Fantasy Draft, but it's still a close game. We'll see what happens. And yes, I am behind, but I'm not at all concerned about that because it's going to be just fine.
And do you think Kevin Nash is going to have a more TV? Do you think it's going to be on TV more now that he was on the pay-per-view tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see Kevin Nash tomorrow on Raw because he's got to explain himself. He can't have this all happening. He's got to explain himself. Now, there is an off chance that maybe he won't be there, but I don't see that scenario developing. He's got to explain himself and why this all happened, why he did what he did, and why he came in and intervened in that matchup for the WWE Championship, because we're led to believe that Triple H didn't have anything to do with it. But good old Stephanie could pick up the phone at any point from the nightstand when Triple H is sleeping and start texting good old Big Daddy Cool. Maybe that happened. Who knows? We'll see. Let's go to our next caller, calling us from the 919 area code. Caller from the 919, you're live.
Hello, Damien. How you doing?
Tremendous.
Good. This is Bert from Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right. What did you think of SummerSlam?
It was great. I mean, Sheamus and Mark Henry, they tore it up. Wade Barrett, D. Bryan, as Booker T like to call him, they tore it up. Only match, I thought Beth Phoenix should have won, but it seemed like her outfit was a distraction for her or something, her new outfit.
She was worried about a malfunction, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much. I think, caught her off guard. I mean, nothing against Kelly, but, more power goes to Beth Phoenix. But at the end, it's Kevin Nash and Alberto Del Rio supposed to be a rich guy, so put two and two together. What other bodyguard would you want in wrestling besides Kevin Nash? Perfect.
Just don't give him the night off.
Yeah, no night off. He's perfect. He's got guys to the top. He's went on by, but Triple H, he did a good job refereeing except for the last, put on the rope. But other than that, it was a great pay-per-view. WWE is going up. TNA is TNA, and I'll leave it at that.
All right. Thank you very much for that call from Raleigh. And again, we're taking your calls. The number 347-996-5278, 347-996-5278. We've also got our chat room going on here on Blog Talk Radio. Lots of conversation there as well, including Baptista saying, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but when Cena left the ring, Triple H had a cocky little smile on his face. Well, we will see. We will see what happened. And the question from Ludi Graves, does Speedy Rare take callers from Europe via Skype? Absolutely, we take callers from anywhere via Skype or phone. As a matter of fact, let's go to that call now, caller via Skype. And let's go to username Cat Ludi. You are live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey there, Damien. How you doing?
Absolutely tremendous. How are you?
I'm good. First, it was my third pay-per-view I was watching from WWE. I say it was worth every penny. Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, perfect. Always great. I like it. Now, favorite match of the night, Cena against Punk. I was chanting. I was going crazy. It was really, really interesting. But Kevin Nash coming out, really? Really? I'm like, okay, Kevin Nash coming out, where does he come from? He's a 7-foot guy. You can't oversee him, But it was really cool, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow for Raw. That's what I can say.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for the call from across the pond. We appreciate that, and we appreciate all of you joining us here on the post show for WWE SummerSlam. And again, on Facebook, you guys are voting, and you're voting very heavily on one side of this question, which is how would you rate tonight's SummerSlam, passing or failing? And go to our Facebook page and vote for that right now.
Stop stalking your ex and be our friend on Facebook and join the tremendous worldwide discussion. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Report.
Let's go to our next caller, calling us from the 832 area code. Caller, you're live.
Hey, Damien, it's me, Ricardo from Houston.
Hello, Ricardo. What'd you think of SummerSlam?
You could not have asked for a perfect ending than what you got tonight. This, to me, has to be the best SummerSlam, to me, in my opinion, since Rock versus Lesnar. And it was just perfect the way it ended. And the Randy Orton match is gonna get underappreciated, but that Orton Christian put on a hell of a show. It was just great. Great programming. It was worth every penny. I might just order the replay to watch it again. That's how good it was.
Well, you should get the replay for free, I think, if you're at least on the satellite providers. I know that happens. But thank you so much for calling in, Ricardo from Houston. Let's go to our next caller, calling us from the 972 area code. Caller from the 972, you're live.
Hey, what's up? This is Sam from Dallas. How you doing?
Doing tremendous. Your thoughts on SummerSlam?
Well, just going to echo the last caller's statements. This is one of the best SummerSlams I've seen in literally 5-7 years. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about the WWE right now is everything, top to bottom, from the Divas to, the World Heavyweight Championship to mid-carders, they're all telling a story, and that's all you want in wrestling. Tell you a story to keep you involved and just to keep you intrigued and captivated. So, TNA, get a notebook and take some lessons.
Thank you so much for that call from Dallas. And, it is truly about storytelling, and most of the matches were surrounded by it. They told great stories. and really you don't even realize sometimes that they are telling you such a great story, and it was done many times in that pay-per-view SummerSlam tonight. Now, speaking of storytellers, a lot of people, including myself, initially upset that good old JR, Jim Ross, was not calling the pay-per-view. It was a three-man team of Cole, Lawler, and Booker T, and with The Miz being the first person out on the pay-per-view, Michael Cole started out very obnoxiously. However, I will give props where props are due. Michael Cole turned it up, and when it came time to play, if you will, it came time to perform and deliver what needed to be delivered, he absolutely did it, and was complimented very well by Jerry Lawler and Booker T. But at the same time, I guess you want what you got till you ain't got it no more. JR would have been just so perfect and really, just gosh. Can you think of JR if he'd have closed out that pay-per-view? And my God, that's Kevin Nash. And Alberto Del Rio is the new WWE champion. What's going to happen tomorrow night on Raw? Blah, blah, blah. But it would have been great. But beggars can't be choosers. Still a great pay-per-view overall, in my opinion, even without Jim Ross calling the action. Let's go to our next caller who's calling us from the 856 area code. Caller from the 856, you're live.
Hi, I'm Eric from New Jersey. I just wanted to say ADR being Kevin Nash's, Kevin Nash being ADR's bodyguard, do you think that's a possibility?
Absolutely, that's a possibility. Why wouldn't it? I think a caller made that point earlier. Why wouldn't Alberto Del Rio go out and hire Kevin Nash? He's rich, smart, powerful, handsome, whatever it might be. It makes a lot of sense, and we'll see how that all develops tomorrow night on WWE Raw. The unanswered questions are plenty, and that's exactly what you want coming out of your weekly TV and coming out of a pay-per-view, because you've got that audience captive at that point. Let's go to another phone caller calling us from the 347 area code. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Josh from Matei. Hello?
All right. Yes, go ahead, Josh. What did you think of SummerSlam?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I don't know. I think the pay-per-view had a Cena heel turn written all over it, but they didn't pop on it. And,
you know what's interesting though, Josh, is did you note how quickly Cena exited the ring after losing?
Yes, I did, and that kind of the whole foot on the rope thing, just it was a underwhelming finish for a really good match. Not as good as the Money in the Bank one, but it was a good match. But it was an underwhelming finish, and you had that feeling like something big was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think the Cena heel turn would have been perfect for the the big summer pay-per-view. But they didn't go in that direction. They did go in a different one, which was well written out, perfect. I want to see what's gonna happen on Monday.
And thank you so much for that call, Josh. Appreciate the time. Let's go to another caller who is calling from the we just went there. And let's go to the 219 area code, actually. Sorry about that delay. Caller from the 219, you're live.
Hello, Damien. This is Nicole in Northwest Indiana. And I want to say that the pay-per-view was very good. I enjoyed it very much. And I just want to say that the Randy Orton match was very painful to watch, not in a bad way, but I think I was grabbing my side and my head more than I think Christian should have.
And Randy Orton bleeding from the mouth and from the hand, courtesy of that matchup tonight.
Yes.
And, I think Randy Orton turned it down a notch tonight. And what I mean by that is Randy Orton tends to be a bit robotic and tends to be a bit like he's being forced to be the good guy. And by his own admission, he'd rather be a heel. But tonight, somehow or another, he delivered a slightly more intense Randy Orton, which I know won't make a lot of sense to a lot of you, but a slightly more intense Randy Orton with that intensity focused on the task at hand.
Yeah. Best match of the night, that was definitely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that call, Nicole from Indiana. And as we try to get our bearings here on who's still waiting on hold, looks like we've got a couple of you. We're going to take those calls in just a moment. So we've got about 5 minutes of showtime left. We're going to take a brief time out. When we come back, we'll take the final phone calls here on the post show for WWE SummerSlam, which features a new WWE champion in Alberto Del Rio.
Don't forget to follow PWR right here on Blog Talk Radio right now. Be reminded of upcoming episodes and never miss Blog Talk Radio's most popular sports show. Follow PWR now. The Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998. But you already knew that. There's only one place to get the latest from pro wrestling, including the only place to get 100% verified wrestling news. PWRshow.com. PWRshow.com, where you'll never find pop-ups or misleading headlines. Watch or listen to all of our latest TV and radio broadcasts on demand. And get caught up on wrestling news between episodes. PWRshow.com is the cleanest, friendliest, and most fan-friendly source for wrestling news on the web.
And thank you for sticking with us through that timeout. We're going to get to our last few phone calls here. We're going to try a couple of you that we tried earlier, see if you're able to join us now, and also take the couple of you that are still waiting on hold. So let's try this from the 610 area code. Caller, you're live. Caller from the 610, you're live. All right. Caller from the 601, you're live. All right. Well, how about the 919? Caller from the 919 area code, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh,
Your thoughts
earlier,
on
whatever. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry about that. Well, thank you. Did you have anything else you want to share?
Well, I could go on, but I think with Nash coming back, like you said, it's going to be a lot of storylines, either Alberto and him or another swerve. You think even Mr. McMahon wanted Nash to be? I mean, they could go a whole lot of different ways. And just like you said, it's going to keep people wanting more and more. So, I mean, it's a good look.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for the call and being a part of the program here tonight. Let's go to our caller from the 860 area code. Caller, you're live.
Hey, how you doing?
Tremendous.
Well, so what do you think the next pay-per-view is going to be? Kevin Nash facing off against CM Punk?
Could be. I think there's unanswered questions as it pertains to the WWE Championship that will be answered at Night of Champions. John Cena could still be recognized as the WWE Champion due to the controversial loss. Alberto Del Rio may not be recognized as the undisputed champion because Kevin Nash shouldn't have been there. There's so many of these different things that could play out. I can't accurately gauge what they're going to do at Night of Champions.
Yeah. So because I think he's a little bit too big just to be a bodyguard. I think he wants to be more in ring than just next to the ring. You know, just watching the matches.
You know, I think Kevin Nash wants another big match, or maybe a few more big matches. But at this point in his career, you know, I don't think he's looking to be wrestling on the road each and every week for any long period of time because he's, you know, been there, done that. And let's not forget, as I said earlier, who's his best friend?
Well, Triple H.
Who's in charge of WWE basically, both on screen and behind the scenes? Triple H.
Yeah.
So it's a very good scenario for Kevin Nash, and I'm not knocking either man for it because that's what you do. But thank you so much for that call and being a part of the program. As we have just over a minute left, let's go to our final caller, calling from the 336 area code. Caller, you're live.
Hello, Damien.
Hello, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Name is Bryce, calling from Missouri, Springfield.
All right, Bryce from Springfield. What did you think of pay-per-view?
It was really fun. Actually enjoyed it. Sat alone in an improv theater and watched it on the wall, projection screen. Really fun.
Nice.
All by myself. Probably not allowed to actually do that, but they gave me the key, so.
It's okay. Again, it's who you know.
Yeah, it's nice. I was just thinking about that CeeLo Green guy. I keep getting D'Lo Brown and CeeLo Green confused.
Yeah.
Name-wise, they don't look too similar. But did you notice I don't know, I missed the first 15 minutes of the show, but did you see the CeeLo Green hand gesture at the end?
No, I missed that, actually.
You know, the inappropriate finger between the index and middle finger.
Oh, that one. He's number one, is what he was telling everybody, right?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. It's
actually,
low down right there.
We've only got a few more seconds of showtime left. Bryce, how about I put you on hold and we take you in the post-show? as we go into extra time here in just a moment. And I want to thank all of you for joining us here on Blog Talk Radio. Again, the podcast version will be slightly longer than the live show that we did tonight. I want to thank several hundred of you joining us in the chat room here on Blog Talk Radio. I want to remind you, we are on Facebook and Twitter, and you can be a part of the conversation always here with the Pro Wrestling Report. The post show continues here on Blog Talk Radio, and let's go back to our caller from Springfield, Bryce. Sorry to have cut you off, but we did have to end the show, at least the live version of the show here on Blog Talk Radio. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about SummerSlam tonight?
I liked the DBD match versus Barrett. That was really enjoyable. Really liked that black hole slam kind of thing he did off the rope. That was nice. It really shows that they watch each other's moves and know what's coming next, and so that was nice. Just looks good.
Overall, would you give it a passing or a failing grade, the pay-per-view SummerSlam tonight?
Passing, but I still have a hard time wanting to spend $55 or whatever it is.
That's a lot of scripts. It's a lot of scripts.
All right, well, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for calling in, Bryce from Springfield. I want to thank all of you for calling in. And as we said on our Facebook page, we've been asking you all night, how would you have rated tonight's WWE SummerSlam, passing or failing? Passing or failing? And an overwhelming 88% of you consider it a pass. And thank you for the engagement and that conversation on our Facebook page, where the conversation always is going on. Again, WWE SummerSlam is in the books. There is a new World Heavyweight Champion in Randy Orton, who defeated Christian tonight in that no-holds-barred matchup, which also saw the return of Edge, who did not get involved in the matchup as Christian had thought he would. Kelly retains the Divas Championship, defeating Beth Phoenix. Wade Barrett defeats Daniel Bryan. Mark Henry wins over Sheamus by a countout. Rey Mysterio wins as he teamed up with John Morrison and Kofi Kingston to take on The Miz, Truth, and Alberto Del Rio. And Alberto Del Rio is the new WWE Champion, defeating CM Punk after cashing in Money in the Bank tonight, all courtesy of Diesel, Big Daddy Cool, Kevin Nash, back on WWE television tonight. And some unanswered questions for sure going into SummerSlam, the Raw after SummerSlam tomorrow night on TV. Thank you so much for all of you who called into the show. We had over 20 callers that we were able to get to tonight. The Pro Wrestling Report continues to be the fan show and the show that speaks to you, for you, and with you. And we will do so again this Thursday night on 540 ESPN, which also streams right here on Blog Talk Radio. So be sure that you follow the show here on Blog Talk Radio so that you never miss an episode and get those email updates whenever the Pro Wrestling Report is going live. Until Thursday, we'll see you on 540 ESPN. Thank you for joining us here on Blog Talk Radio for the WWE SummerSlam post show.
Don't forget to follow PWR right here on Blog Talk Radio right now. Be reminded of upcoming episodes and never miss Blog Talk Radio's most popular sports show. Follow PWR now. Follow us on Twitter for breaking news, live wrestling chat, and pure hilarity. Head over to twitter.com/PWR show and be part of the conversation. The Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998. But you already